brighter out here. You need to turn the light up.
Oh, maybe it's up a little bit. Hello, JP. Please help yourself. Hope all's well with you. You got your NRL back, which is a weird game, I must be honest. Bounce the bloody ball, kick it. I shall try mine. Be sure the AFL is back next week. I think starts Thursday. I don't know how during these NRL games have been using canned crowd noise. How do you find that? We haven't watched it, of course, but
Well, to be honest, I didn't miss the sport.
no. Yeah, the only game of AFL they played, you could hear the on-field leaders talking to their groups. You know, back, Jono, back. Things like that, and come forward, man him up. All those little bits you do not hear when there's 100,000 people screaming. Yeah, there's probably some there with a few knobs and dials and someone who knows a bit about the game. I think they've gone back to one ref, which it used to be. I didn't like. Too many refs, too many cooks in the kitchen. That's what I would say. Is he going to miss some things? Yep. Wonder what their thoughts on the AFL umpiring. Ground's probably too big just to have one. So they have three. Yeah, on that theory alone, it sounds like they're trying to speed up the game. Trying to stop all the stop-start.
I showed them to rubbish in front of the camera.
Righto. Oh, macaroni. One thing about rugby that always annoyed me, it just seemed, oh, for God's sake, stop. Just get on with the game. Like I say, with the one ref, there's no doubt there'll be things missed, but I'm pretty sure they're not giving away the video review. So there'll be another umpire, but upstairs in a box. He's out for 10 weeks. What'd he do? He's getting a bit long in the tooth now. 10 weeks is a lot of the remaining of his career. It's virtually the season, let's be honest. I didn't read anything about Buddy. I knew his father. He's from West Australia originally. Yeah, getting old, hamstrings. Could be the end of him, if you think about it. Yeah, again. Don't know. Joel Danaher. Big long streak of Pelican shit. Yeah. He's a bit thin, that boy. Kind of the days of the shorter versions of Terry Danaher. Neil Danaher gets the ball, kicks it to Terry. Terry kicks it. Oh, yes, and then hit the lead. Bless you, my child.
Thank you.
Still, they say it's good to get a bit of sport back. Everything's just about back to normal here. Oh no, Dustin Fletcher was a different kettle of fish. He was like a big mango crab. He was pretty strong. Oh, he was over 40. He was over 40 playing. I think he was 41 or 42 when he quit. The red hair Essendon legend. There's Tony Abbott. Here's the going, Tony. There's only one Tony Abbott. Nah, 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 nah. The old tongue-waggling Tony Abbott.
Shower?
Oh, you would have had a share by now. It's Saturday.
Where you're on later. Like I say, did you drive behind your ears?
Urunga? Where'd you get that from? Warringa. Spit it out, John. From the East Coast, you should know these things. Oh, he's retracted it, so you can't be caught. So we took a screenshot. We got it. Urunga.
Doesn't matter, I always do spelling mistakes.
Let's see, he was talking about Fletcher. Urunga, redhead.
Full.
Yeah, close, but not close enough, eh, Tony? I went a few times around those beaches. Who was that family they did in that?
Sylvania Waters.
Yeah, do you remember Sylvania Waters, guys? The sort of middle class bogans. Yeah, Tony doesn't mind telling you about Urunga because he doesn't live there. Yeah, Sylvania Waters. Just a weird show. What was her name?
I can't remember.
Doreen or something like that. It was pretty bad, JP. Drunks. It was like watching
Yeah,
the Bogan women. What's those things that they do of Hollywood and things like that?
Housewives.
Yeah, all the kids say, shove it up the arse. Tell them to get fucked. Neighbours don't pay our electricity. If we want to run a 400 subwoofer, we will. Never been into reality shows. There's always
Some are good.
Well, most people are made out to be pricks, and they're probably not.
Yeah, we know it's a show.
And just the angle of the producers, how they.
If you've got common sense, you know it's all put on.
Even like cooking. I like cooking, but they've even destroyed cooking shows. Right, we're going to create a cooking show where we cause conflict, lots of lipstick, knives, and then we'll rig the judging for ratings. Great. There's very few TV chefs that actually do cooking shows, like show you how to make stuff. It's sort of a bygone era now.
What's that one, the British guy?
Oh, there's heaps of them.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Not Jamie Oliver. The other one that Ingrid likes.
The one with his dog.
No, the little, he's a bit chunky. Oh, I think of that.
A bit chunky. One of my favourite cooking chefs was Keith Floyd. He was always drinking while he was cooking.
That was one of Mum's favourite.
He was always having a go at the French. Keith Floyd, yeah, look him up. What's the one we watch all the time? What's his name? With Chalky the dog, who's no longer with us.
Oh, can't think of his name either.
Mm.
Can you?
No. Yeah, everything's been turned into a sort of drama show.
Oh,
Because drama sells.
all the cook-offs do this fancy shit. Oh, it doesn't taste. It's the taste, and sometimes it gets annoying. Because
Rick Stein,
that's it.
he's another good one. But there isn't very many television shows where the cook just shows you how to cook. It's like no one's interested in that shit.
Yes, drama sells.
Yeah,
It is
Rick
so
Stein's
true.
good. His old dog passed away years ago, Chalky, if you remember Chalky. Used to bite everybody.
As he got older, he did. But he took him everywhere.
The fat Aussie guy, can't remember his name.
What about that Aussie guy?
You're talking one of them judges or a cook? Well, there was probably the first cooking show guy in Australia was Bernard King. It's
Yeah.
going back in the 70s.
Yeah, and then the one that lives on the Murray River, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Stefano.
Stefano.
Yeah, in the Murray River, we catch fish taste like mud, but I add garlic sauce and it is wonderful. I'm originally from Italia. Stefano. What, something on the Murray, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bernard King, 70s. Who else was there?
Fat cook.
Struggling.
Remember, huh? I'll just Google fat cook.
Fat baby, fat baby.
Fat Aussie cook.
Good morning, Cheeky Swatter. If you're willing to take this mission, remember you have to swallow the evidence and it will explode in your intestines. It won't hurt too much. It will make sure that the evidence is no longer available. You're going to find this bloke, all right?
But that's what I just said.
Maybe you're thinking of Stefano, what's the name on the Murray? Gondola on the Murray was his show. That's what it was called, wasn't it? Gondola on
Yeah.
the Murray. We stand here tonight. I shouldn't talk with a cigar in my mouth. The nation of America is at war with itself. Man, it's looking ugly over there.
And
Oh, Hugo, oh yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he did actually teach you to cook, I'll give you that.
Yes.
Huey, I
remember,
met
yeah.
Huey many years ago.
Yep.
He would actually tell you why you use this and why you use that. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, he was actually. In Aussie.
Utopia, is that something?
Oh, that's a new one. We haven't seen that yet. Oh, it's not new, but I've seen that advertised.
I, for one moment, have always known that America's never been united. If you ask someone on the East Coast what I think about the West Coast people, they don't like them. You ask someone from Louisiana what you think about the rest of the state, they don't like them. You go way up north, they want nothing to do with them. It's like about 6 countries in one. There's nothing united about America.
I'm thinking of a different show than Chick.
But it'll all end in tears.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe by design, but let's be honest. The designer had lots of faults.
I don't get the looting. I mean, stick to the program.
Oh, it's opportunist, that's all it is. We
Yeah,
saw
but-
this, I mean,
but-
I saw this in the 70s
But
and the 80s and the
They're
90s.
making life hard for themselves. They're looting and wrecking all their shops, but they've got to go shop there. They're going to be
But
complaining.
at the time,
when,
no, whoever's stealing doesn't care.
They're going to be complaining when they got nothing. There's just no common sense. Stick with the program and what is the word?
Well, if you think about the loud noise and people ring a large bell, people come screaming, oh, what's that about? And I certainly don't think getting money for filming a riot is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I saw some of that, JP. How much money did they get?
Problem with crowds and rioting, more than half the people are just curious. They're not there for any reason.
No, and then it's mob mentality. Everyone goes crazy.
Well, chick, just Google Australian deaths by COVID-19 and compare that to the United States.
I mean, do your protesting. That's all well and good. But you can do it without going bloody stupid.
For me, it's like, so you have to film something controversy or anger or hatred, and then you get lots of people to watch. That's, what are you doing? Well, you're recreating a rubbernecking experience. Oh, there's something going on.
Yeah, well,
And-
it's human nature.
It's just absurd.
But you,
Other words, I'm saying it doesn't help the cause of trying to regain natural order because, you know, the police in the US have for years. Look, I come from a time where I remember Rodney King. Some of you may or may not remember Rodney King in 1991, killed by police. It's just one of these crazy things. There's still a lot of undertones of racial hatred.
yeah,
We ate it. All that remains of the cake is that bit of paper, I'm sorry. But it was delicious.
oh, spice cake. That sounds interesting, 1, 2, 3.
Well, I think it's one of those old adages. You listen to an old lady or a man saying, now listen guys, this looks pretty bad. Let's take it serious for quite a period of time and maybe we'll get through this. Well, the reason why Australians have been able to get through this is that, hello Monchichi, they've been able to get paid. Say Monchichi had lost his job in Australia, the government would have stuck $1,500 every 2 weeks in his hand and saying, we'll keep giving you that money until you can go back to work. So no one's had to worry about money or food. In the US, I've got friends that still have not received their first stimulus check, the first 1,200 months ago. They haven't got it. And now they're about getting another one. It's like, people haven't got the first one. It's like, if you're hungry and your kids are not getting food, yeah, I'd be pissed off. A lot of these actions you're seeing over the Black Death are terrible, there's no question, but it's justifiable. People are not just angry about that. Though that was terrible, don't get me wrong. They're angry about everything that's been going on. They're broke. Some of these people looting might have been looting food.
Well, Tony is only just now having a shower.
Can't clean your act up, Tony. Remember, face, hand wash, chest, legs, knees, then bottom. Don't do that first, Tony. Don't be tempted just to rip the old flannel down in the valley of doom first.
And then put it in the wash when you're done.
And then, like, do your face. That's not good. Don't do that, Tony. Hello, Pixie. Hope things are going well in Belgium. I know you've had a rough time.
Drive by.
You won't be able to force vaccines, chick. Won't happen.
Why not?
Because people will just disappear and not be there on the day, fail to respond.
Well,
And in Australia, we don't have to have a vaccine.
you do.
No, we don't.
You do before you can go to school.
Well, that might be a kid, but no adult has to. Trump has the military. I don't think Trump is in control of anything, chick.
No, he would have been locked up in his office. Keep me safe.
Someone needs to send him a fiddle while Rome burns. That's terrible, Pixie. 10,000 deaths.
Wow.
We've had 100, but we shut up shop real early. I just see terrible outcomes in the US. People all having to go back to work because they've got no money. And in most states, or half the states I believe, they're still spiking. And when you say that number, 100,000 people, that is staggering. That is just unfathomable. It's like, shit, maybe we should do something different?
Well, Spanish flu, they did what we're doing now, and those millions still died.
Well, they didn't have the medical response that we've got now. But the best way to prevent is to do that. Prevent, not look for a cure. Because by the time they do have a vaccine, this damn thing would have mutated. It's like, oh, that's the vaccine for the old version of COVID-19. Yeah, what's it called now? COVID-27.
What did I read?
Yeah, is this vaccine any good for COVID-27? No, it's good for COVID-19.
And a news presenter somewhere in America, I don't know if it was fake news or whatever, said if they don't let people back to work, then we can't do a vaccine because too many people get cured.
What? So that they need people to get sick to make money.
Vaccine. It's basically what he said.
Well, last I read, there were 133 institutions around the world, of which about 40 are doing trials of vaccine right now.
Sorry, I mean, if they keep everyone...
We're doing trials in Australia.
If they keep everyone in lockdown and people get better, they can't test to do a vaccine.
Look, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's very hard to lock down again now. They just have to change how people interact. I mean, there are so many countries that just shut shop, closed borders, didn't let anyone in and out, and they've done okay. Sweden was this big wave, and if Pixie's here, Sweden's not too far away from Belgium. Sweden said, we're not doing nothing. We're just going to go day by day. They have a terrible death rate in Sweden. So, and look at Brazil. The president of Brazil says, don't worry about it. It's all okay. No worries, just a flu. And now they're burying thousands every day. Hello, Danny G. Just frustrates me because governments do not support the people with money and food and security, that the people can only react one way, and that's with anger.
Danny is just starting her day.
like I say, the recent attacks that are occurring in the US are for a reason. People are pissed off. Like I say, I remember Rodney King, 1991, and it's been way before that, and it's just kept going. There is an inherent breed of racism. Whichever way you want to coat and paint this, that's what it is. The problem is, it's not the man in the uniform. And a lot of people will always disagree. It's not the man in the uniform. It's the training, it's the institutions above him, and then it's the government above them. That's where the problem stems from. You can't inherently keep saying that the police forces in the US are all corrupt and all racist. That's not true. But inherently, you only do as the handler teaches you. Hello, Adam.
Oh, a long time no see.
So a lot of these protests are definitely for that reason. But people are angry anyway. I said weeks ago that you'll have people on the street protesting, screaming and shouting. This is for a specific reason. But you can bet your balls 80% of the people out there, because they're just mad as hell. They're hungry. They have no work, and they've got to drive and wait 12 hours in a queue to get a box of food. Yeah, I'd be pissed off.
How's you been, Adam?
This weekend is not going to be good in the US. I would advise all my good friends here, stay home. This is not to do with COVID-19. There's a lot of rage being unleashed. Avoid it. Have you been? You ever been?
How you been? Bit slang for saying how are you? How have you been?
He knew that. He was just teasing you. Hello, Scarlett. Just getting my coffee. We just had one.
With carrot cake.
It was yum. I'll be honest, I don't speak for every Australian in here, but we're just totally dismayed at what's been going on in the US. We just can't fathom how they can be so disorganised, conflict, and above all of this, the people of America are now mad as hell.
Did you get your tooth fixed, Adam? The accent. What accent? Do I have an accent?
I don't know. I don't understand what you're talking about. Actually, you do sound a little bit funny.
What?
You sound a little bit funny.
Adam had a cracked tooth. Ooh. I have to teach you some Aussie slang.
Wrap this round your laughing gear. Means, yeah, try it, bite into it. No, see, that doesn't wear with me, Scarlett. I'm neither blue or red, but you can't paint one side of a paradigm. They're all as bad as each other. Making a political division based on just one party. You can't have a division based on one party. It has to be a collusion. And as such, they're as bad as each other. It's very simple.
Oh my God, Adam.
Box did that too, didn't you? Remember years ago, Box pulled a tooth out?
Yeah, so did my dad.
He said, how's it going, Box? He said, it hurts like shit.
Oh God, and what's his name? Herbie.
Herbie did the same, yeah.
And ended up with an infection. Adam, did you rinse your mouth out, disinfect, all the rest of
Yep,
it?
we can disagree. But you can't have a political faux pas on one side. There has to be conflict, Scarlett. So saying that it's one group of people the problem is like saying, all right, all the Democrats, I want you to get on boats and fuck off out of America. Do you know what would happen, Scarlett? The remaining, if you like, redcoats would all turn on each other. It's a human thing to blame but not accept responsibility for your own actions is just pointing the finger. I don't think the administration has done a good job on one basis. America should have had a national response. Very simple. The American people have not been supported during this. I mean, how many people have got their first stimulus check? I know people haven't got their first stimulus check of $1,200. Whoopie-doo, for months. How are you supposed to feed a family, keep fuel in the car, buy food? How are you supposed to do that? I mean, it's all right if you were saying along the lines, well, it's the Democrats that have caused this, but I've got to wave a big flag. Hang on. The Democrats are not in power. Well, that's not true, Scarlett. It's not that they're starving, but they're lining up in queues to get food. Like, so you can always shake, rattle and roll an opinion, but if I'm the coach of your team, Scarlett, and we're stuffing up and I'm making terrible mistakes, you can't blame the guy who's not the coach sitting on the bench. That's not how it works. You've got to stand up for the things you do, whether they're good, bad or indifferent. And like I say, if the Democrats were running the country, I'd be ripping into them as well, Scarlett, if this was the outcome. I have no political bias in this at all. But you can't blame an opposition that's not in power for the problems of a country led by a different party. It's like saying, yeah, it's all their fault, but they don't actually make any decisions. They're part of Congress and the Senate, I understand all that, but they don't run the country. They don't have executive orders. So you blame what the opposition is pushing. All right, I have to ask you the reverse question. Do you have any blame on the administration that's running your country at the moment at all? You know, the ones running the country.
Jojo.
I have no problem debating this, but I think Trump is doing a great job. Well, I think that your trust is misplaced. In years to come, you will see the outcome of investigations in regards to responses and actions, and it's not going to be pretty. I have never known an administration led by one man who has fired so many people based on the fact they're not saying yes. I've never seen people that formerly worked for this administration compare the administration to the mafia. I've lived a fairly long time and watched loads of administrations, and I can tell you, this is like the mafia. Oh, look, I don't like what Twitter said. Let's close Twitter down. Really? But anyway, I'm not arguing with anyone. I'm entitled to voice my opinion, and I have a third-party view. I'm looking at the aquarium from the outside. Oh, look, I don't have a great following of the World Health Organization at all. I find it a little bit strange when our money's being spent by someone else. The CDC is a totally separate unit, and some of the things the CDC have put forward to the administration, Scarlett, have been ignored. So what's the point of having a CDC if you go, no, we won't do that? And I repeat, I do not care whether it was a Democrat or a Republican running America. At the moment, it's a shambles. Simple. You can see the division in, like, when that CNN building, wherever that was attacked, and they quite openly used on reports and online, and people have said the same. Oh, good, the CNN building got attacked because they think that they support the Democrats. Really? Is that what it's come to in the country? It's such a division within America that you either are blue or red, and as such you must hate each other. What was the name of your country again? Oh, that's right, the United States of America. Maybe you should get rid of the first word.
Yes, Adam, us Aussies have told China where to go.
We've told them to shove it up their ass. We'll leave our ore in the ground, our fish in the ocean, our wine in the fields. Yeah, we'll suffer, but we'll get over it. See, this is where we disagree, Scarlett. On every opportunity that you give, you will go into defence of an administration. Not for one moment would you question their actions or the effects of inaction, which shows that you are one of those deep red or deep blue people. You don't compromise. You have a division within your thought process of your own country, which is crazy. Everyone is the same. We differ in opinion and views, but if you're an American, you're an American. You shouldn't be hated or ostracised for different beliefs. You do not affiliate with political parties, so you are centre. You're saying that you only based your opinions and views on what you've seen and what's been done. Well, I'm an Australian, and no Australians are rioting in the streets for any reason. No Australians have gone without money, and most Australians are now back at work. We don't have 100,000 deaths in Australia. We have 100. And on that basis alone, you would have to say, how did that happen? Australia only has a tenth of the US population. All right, multiply 100 by 10. That means we would have lost 1,000 people, not 100,000 people. Someone is responsible. And you just can't say, oh, it's just an unfortunate event. Bullshit. Mark my words, in the years to come, the people that ran this part of the administration will be held accountable for what happened. I'd be saying the same damn thing if a Democrat Prime Minister was in. 103, I do apologise, JP. No, not at all, Adam. I think they're real figures. I've spoken to real people who work in hospitals and funeral homes. They're real dead people from the virus. Some might have had contributing illnesses that sped up the process, but it's the virus that killed them.
Well, yeah, I don't
Oh,
believe
you
that,
don't?
Scarlett.
Do you believe that, Scarlett? I don't believe that for one
that
second. I
at
believe
all.
that there was tens of thousands of deaths in China, at least. Tens of thousands. But in China, we're talking about China when I remember them. Do you remember Tiananmen Square? How does the Chinese government look after dissidents and people that protest? Well, they just shoot them. That's what they do. And if they don't like the figures coming out, no, Japan, they're having a terrible time, but they seem to have things heading in the right direction now.
But,
Each country's done this differently, Scarlett. America has done it badly.
But Japan have had more than 800 deaths.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if you want to look at scorecards, you know, we can say where the blame come from. China. We in Australia, Australians are furious with China. Don't get me wrong. But the response in countries is each and their own responsibility to look after the health and well-being of its people. America, fail card. Terrible fail card. Now, still 15 to 17 states in America still going upwards. And what's happening? The death rate's rising again. All right, Danny, you be careful.
See you, Danny.
I don't care where it started. It started somewhere, and our country is the one that stepped forward and said to China, listen, Buffhead, China, we want to know where, why, and what happened. China's response to Australia is, oh, we'll stop buying all your goods. All right, shove it up your ass. I feel so angry for the American people. They've just been basically ignored. And she'll be right, no worries, get back to work. Well, do you have evidence to that fact, Scarlett? It was created in a lab? If you don't have evidence, it's mere speculation, which I don't work with. If I know there's a fact and someone did something like that, I'd want that country bombed quickly. But if it's not, if it's just a rumour or it's just hearsay, it's nothing.
Oh, that's what the news is reporting.
Well, we all got to believe the news, don't we? There's a lot of anger in America. You just count that 100,000 people. A genealogist usually say that if there's one person, there's 100 people attached to them. Multiply 100,000 by 100. That's how many people are pissed off. We don't know where it come from, Scarlett or Adam. That's why Australia's been pushing for an independent inquiry. That's why Australia's being punished by China. And now in the UK, they're being punished by China. I think China's got the wrong idea here. You can try and threaten countries, but they are not going to put up with it.
It's fighting, making cargoes.
Like I say, I'm just angry that so many Americans are dead. You could see how you can play with statistics. Listen to this one. 30 9/11s have happened within 6 weeks in America. See how a news angle could be thrown at that? Throw that away. There's 100,000 people that have died.
Yep, fake news.
How many could have been prevented? And I will tell all my American friends, and some of you already know the answer to this, don't rely on your government. Don't wait for the knock at the door with someone who says, we're here to save you. Don't rely on anyone but yourself. The government is there not to protect you or support you. Maybe in decades gone past that was the case, but not anymore. You in their interest rating, you're zero. That happened all over the world, Scarlett. A lot of people in the UK are furious about that because what they had, they were forced to take them from hospitals. So they had someone who came into a nursing home in the UK who may or may not have had COVID-19, and then 50, 60 people dying in a nursing home. I'm pretty sure nurses and doctors that were given orders to do such a thing had no intent of harming anyone. All the people receiving those people in nursing homes tried to do their best maybe to isolate them. Oh, I would never put people with COVID-19 on ships. That has been a disaster all around the world. And I did watch earlier today, and I'm glad it didn't go any further, there were protesters outside the White House. Not a good thing. I'm not saying people are not entitled to protest, but it's got to that stage where the people are marching on the Capitol. For me, it's very sad. In Australia, I could have an argument with JP about politics, and we'd go on for hours. But then we'd have a beer, a bit of a laugh, a bit of a chuckle. We'll leave it at that. We never hate each other. We won't call each other names. We won't put placards on boards outside his home. Australians are totally different. If our government at any time, whoever is leading the country, stuffs up, we let them know. Well, probably not ours. Maybe a few minutes. I don't know. Maybe just me talking, you going there with that look on your face like you've just found $500 but lost $6. But it's ridiculous. We don't get the mentality where you're one or the other. We don't trust the bastards, period. We don't care who's in power. We don't trust them. And when you weigh up the consequence of my next statement, it's true, and even more so in the US, most politicians around the world are failed lawyers. Check it out. Google it. Yeah, we have to discern between our opinions and people. Governors making decisions based on a national health crisis, Scarlett, is stupid. You need a national response. You need a collective response, that everybody does everything at the same time. You wouldn't do this in your own. I'll give you a great example, Scarlett. I'm not picking on you, Scarlett. Imagine if you've got 10 people living in your home and 2 or 3 get really sick. Well, you will isolate them. You'll make sure, because you want to protect the rest of the family, that they're going to be good before they come back into the family again. But no, not in America. Governors, you sort it out. Yeah, you do it, and then I can blame you later. You have a federal government, you have state governors, you have mayors. Most of the time on our news, we get to see mayors and governors talking about their response. We don't get to see the federal leaders talk other than saying, yeah, take this drug, it's good for you. Maybe you could swallow disinfectant. Or, you know, maybe it's just a small flu. We won't talk about it for a couple of months until half the nation's infected. You mark my words, when history unfolds and looks back, there won't be any finger pointing, there'll just be facts being laid out. The national response in the US to this pandemic has been awful. I don't blame the people. The people have been trying to work, can't work, not getting any money. But don't trust the government. The government's not there to look after you. Never was. I think Jojo's talking to his Labrador, I'm not sure.
Jojo's gone.
I think the people of America are wonderful, don't get me wrong. I really think they are. You're not as good looking as Australians and you're a bit shorter than us, but other than that, there's not much difference between us.
I don't know, Texas is big.
Well,
They got big hats.
when we talk about people of a country, they love their country. They want their country to succeed. But we're not as divided in Australia. Politics for us is that if we see someone who needs kicking in the nuts politically, we will do it. We don't care who it is, whether they're red, blue, green or purple. They get a kick in the nuts. You know, if you say vote for the Liberal Party in Australia and they went really, really bad, they say stuff. They say, oh, I don't think my party's doing the right thing. And they protest against them. There's none of this, oh, well, they're Liberals, so it's okay. Whatever they do is fine by me. No, that's not what Australians are like. June 21st, which of course is on the cusp of the winter solstice. That's summer solstice where you are, of course. You did know that, of course, chick. The virus is a political ploy. So you're suggesting the Democrats produced this in the lab, flew it over to China, licked over it? Not sure where you're going with that one, Scarlett. I might bring you towards the Seeds Senate Committee. Scarlett, you just made that statement. Where did you get the evidence from? Well, that looks yum.
That's not tacos.
They look like chicken or something.
How do you wrap them?
I read an article about 5 years ago, and this is how divided as far as politically Americans are. Yeah, it's socio-economic in some instances in regards for people supporting the Democrats, but really what it is, it's entrenched in families. One of the questions that was asked is, do you support this party? And if you do, how far back in your family does that support go? I was staggered to hear people saying 6 generations, 7 generations. Our family's always voted red or blue. So that's not how I think. If your great-great-grandfather supported the Democrats, do you have to? What basis is that on? Family loyalty? Family patriotism? That's just plain weird. If someone is doing a great job, support them. If they're not, I suggest you kick them in the nuts. It's very simple. People that get bent over and kicked in the nuts generally don't hang around very long. Well, I'm not saying you're a political nut job at all, and we're only having a discussion. But you have put forward a few motions in regards to how, why and when, with no evidence, and you're now in front of my Senate committee. Scarlett, where do you get all that nonsense from? You've been really reading Jules Verne. Is that it? I'll tell you what you'll hear in an Australian pub. Say politics are coming to a hunch and there's going to be an election shortly. You'll have 2 blokes drinking at a bar. One bloke saying, I always support this party, but, you know, they've been stuffing around. And bloke say, well, what are you going to do? I'll probably vote for the other mob. They're just as bad, but not as bad as my mob. That's a normal conversation in Australia. There is no, I've always voted for this, so I'll always vote for them. Yep. That's what we'll do. Yep. No. So there's a lot of blind faith is what I'm saying, Scott. A lot of blind faith in supporting something unilaterally, unconditionally. I support this political party, irregardless of what they do. That's just stupid. That's not a thinking person's view. That's an indoctrinated person's view. See, I don't even get that, Adam. Just because someone gets elected president, are you obliged to support them? I wouldn't. If I thought they were the wrong person for the job and they were doing a bad job, I wouldn't say, oh, well, I support my president no matter what he says. No. Where do you get your info? You're asking me the same questions. Well, research as well. I've spoken to many leaders in politics and they all say the same thing. Lots of families, even in Australia, are indoctrinated by voting, say, for Labor or Liberal. And it doesn't matter what the point of view is in regards to current political situations, they'll keep voting. It's like, oh, we've always voted that in my family. It's like, that's weird. That's not anyone thinking.
Yeah, well, I'm weird then because I grew up voting what my parents voted.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like I say, it's pretty much an indoctrination.
Yeah.
But, doing research and finding out facts depends where the researchers look for and where the facts are coming from. If it's mere speculation, innuendo or belief, it's not a fact.
Politics is too deep.
Huh? Elon Musk rocket blew up. Are you saying those guys died, Scarlett? Is that what you're saying? I thought they were launching today sometime.
I thought it was cancelled.
No, they've relaunched for today. Scarlett's saying it blew up.
Huh?
I find that terrible if that's true. I hope it's not true. No, it's a different rocket. Well, I thought the launch was happening today and you mentioned that your words were, did you see Elon Musk rocket blow up? And it's supposed to be launched today sometime. Where was I supposed to distinguish between fact and fiction? You see what I mean about research? I thought for one moment 2 people have lost their lives. It was stopped because of bad weather, I believe, and it's not guaranteed. What I read last night was it wasn't guaranteed to go today.
Because of the weather, yeah.
Depended on weather again. Elon Musk's is a different rocket. Well, I'm pretty sure it's Elon Musk's rocket that's taken 2 people to the International Space Station. (3:22 p.m. Eastern Time), so that'd be about 3 a.m. my time.
So it hasn't gone yet.
Okay, I'm confused, Scarlett. You're now telling me that the rocket taking 2 astronauts to the space station is not anything to do with Elon Musk. Is that what you're saying? We don't have TiVo. Who runs SpaceX, Scarlett? Yeah, I'm old too, Adam. I'm confused. I thought SpaceX was run by Elon Musk. I've been conned all these years. Maybe it's the KGB. So you're saying the government of the United States runs SpaceX, nothing to do with Elon Musk? Okay. I think I have to go and get another coffee. And we'll have to talk about sex,
You make it, yes.
pole dancing.
You're getting too passionate.
I think they turned up in some sort of open car, like Flash.
So they're not actually going until 3 a.m. our time.
Chick was saying about 3:22 their time, so about 12 hours makes it about, must be 3 a.m.
3 a.m. in the morning for us.
Yeah, we won't be watching it.
So that's
We'll
when
be
they.
asleep.
That's when they go.
Well, yeah, I know what Scarlett's saying, but SpaceX is run and formulated by Elon Musk. I'm going to go and get a coffee on that note, and I want people to Google. I've been sitting there very patient, but I'm going to go. I'll be back. After we. Do you want another coffee?
If you're making it,
Yeah.
make sure you wash your hands after you pee.
It's what is it? It's social distancing. I'll bring out a coffee and I'll find a quick stick for you.
Oh dear. Well, Art's confused with the space thing now. All I know is a couple of men were going to go up in space. I haven't really watched it. Oh, I wouldn't be going to Mars. Would any of yous go into space? There you go, that's a question. I wouldn't. 'Cause what is it, if you go to Mars you can't come back? Well, okay, I don't know. I believe there's other realms, so why couldn't they go to another planet? No, Scarlett. He likes having a good debate. And you're probably about the only person that he debates and you respect each other. Like, because you can get quite heated sometimes. And then everything's fine. Seeds does like a good debate and to talk. Sometimes a little bit too intellectually for me. And he's probably in there listening while he's making the coffee. See, Jono, you know more than I do. I have a share in Cadbury's, that's all I know. The amount of chocolate I buy. I should own half the company by now. Jono, don't tell people you Googled it. Try and make out that you're smart. Make it look like you knew. Want to check Facebook? You know what? We all know a little bit about a lot and nothing about everything. Is that how the saying goes? No, we all know something about something. Yeah, that's right, Adam. We all can agree to disagree. And at the end of the day, all colours are the same in the dark. Excuse me, Google is correct. Google was written by a woman, wasn't it? Google is, yeah, so there you go. I'm just kidding. Well, that's right. It does it. Even all the info out there. Read stuff. What is true, unless you've experienced it firsthand. Jono, I don't know. It's a joke that Google. Excuse me, what's that supposed to mean, Jono? Huh? Come on. We can all have different opinions. Oh, we better be quiet. I think Seed's coming.
Put a bit of cream.
Cream.
Just a bit. Something a bit
Oh,
different.
how come I got a different cup?
Because that's what I found in the cupboard.
The clean ones were on the sink.
Oh well, this
Alright,
is
listen, everyone, I'm going to have a domestic. Why didn't you use the clean ones on the sink?
Because I just wanted you to hate you and find you in anger. I'm back, everybody. Just reading you the news.
Well, that's good, Jono, but sometimes you do need facts.
Here goes the news. Could be fake news, though, I'm not sure. Here we go. SpaceX to reattempt manned rocket launch in Florida. Elon Musk's firm plans flight with NASA astronauts following Wednesday's cancellation. Elon Musk's SpaceX is due to undertake a repeat attempt, launching 2 Americans in orbit from Florida on Saturday. It would be the first launch of US astronauts in US soil for 9 years. That's probably fake news. Fancy imagining for one moment Elon Musk runs SpaceX and is launching a rocket into space with NASA. Oh, I'm on the fake news page, obviously. Better get off there. I'll be influenced otherwise.
What are you going on about?
It's just absurdity.
We'll just take a small commercial break.
We'll take a small break, like someone's leg. Put it in a vice, hit with 14-pound sledgehammer. The break will be clean, easier to repair.
Yeah, that's why I said he's back, so stop talking about him.
No one would be talking about me because I would have sensed it. I would have felt it. I would have heard the vibrations.
So you just added cream, no milk.
No, I put milk in, but they've got that cream. I didn't know. I checked the date's good, and I'm thinking, yeah, we should start using it. I put a bit of that cream in that soup. It was yum.
Yeah, so is that the first tub gone? Have I still got a tub
I
of
don't
cream?
know. I opened that new one last night. I just thought there was only one.
I had 2.
I don't know. Anything upcoming for recipes? Well, if you go and watch my last soup I made, you will love it. Leek, bacon and potato. Making pies is really easy. One day when you're here, Adam, and you're thawed out in the Australian summer, I'll show you how to make pies live and uninterrupted.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you can't. That would be our number one soup. I like pan ham soup, but
I prefer leek and bacon soup.
leek, bacon and potato soup,
I prefer that than
it's the duck's nuts,
I
I'm
prefer
telling
that
you.
than pan ham.
Yeah,
What is the time? Am I going to regret doing this coffee this late? Yeah.
I know a lot of Americans
I've
don't
been
use
peeing all night.
leeks, but we've always used them. Well, if you're messing the crust up, don't try and make it bite, but put short crust pastry on the bottom and puff pastry or flaky pastry on top. That combination gives you a firm bottom, and everyone likes a firm bottom, and a nice flaky top, and we all like flaky tops. Scarlett says, I use leeks. Yep. Not many Yanks do though, Scarlett. I've asked loads of people, they go, what, leek what? I know a lady used to make a leek and chicken pie. She was from Maryland. I think it was a family sort of recipe.
So your air conditioner broke, chick. So you're in your summer.
I'm growing leeks now, actually. I don't know how successful it'll go, but
Are you in your summer or your winter, chick?
they're heading into summer.
So that's why she wants to get the air conditioner.
But definitely, like I say, short crust pastry on the bottom and flaky or puff pastry on top.
Jono uses WikiLeaks.
I use leeks, WikiLeaks. How's your mate Daniel going these days, Jono? Is he still in Russia? Is there any perestroika happening? Well, not tomorrow, but the next day is the first official day of winter, June the 1st. And I'm going to pull out, I've been running this basil, and it shouldn't have been growing at all, but it has. But it started punching out some stems for flowers yesterday, so I pinched them all off, and tomorrow I'm going to pull the whole plant out, the whole lot, even though it's healthy, and I'm going to rinse the roots off nice and clean, and then I'm going to turn it upside down, peg it up, and dry it for about 4 weeks. And then I'll have dried parsley at its peak.
Parsley or basil?
Basil. If you try and dry basil after all the flowers come out, well, all the energy of the plant's gone into the flowers, so it's not as at its peak as it is now. But drying herbs is really easy. You don't have to do anything. That's it. Clean them, hang them upside down. About a week later, I put a plastic bag underneath it because it starts to dry out. By week 3, things are falling off. By week 4, I just get the whole bag and I rub my fingers on the outside and go scrunchy, scrunchy, scrunch. Dried basil. Voila.
Voila.
June 21st is officially summer. Yeah, chick, I think you go by the equinox. in America. Eight wheat plants, so I ran out of seeds. My goodness, fancy you running out of weed seeds. Have you got some old stock in the cupboard, Adam? Little humming heads. Yeah, what it is, the dried seeds and flowers are really potent, but the actual basil leaf doesn't go as well. So I've always, as the plant hits its peak, taken it completely out the ground, hung them up outside. Look, you only need one basil plant.
See you, Jono.
See you, JP. Yeah, if you're cooking more than one basil plant's worth of leaves a year, you're eating too much basil. It's a herb that I go to occasionally. And fresh is best, but dry is just as good and quite potent. You don't need a lot of it.
It's raining.
Oh, you got 60 seedlings to transplant. Oh, okay. That's not a very good ratio, Adam.
Maybe you didn't store them properly.
Yeah, no, basil's good, but like I say, the amount of recipes I use it with is minimal. Do you know what I mean? It's good pesto, yeah, if you want to have that. But as far as like, what would I normally throw herbs in? I'm very basic with my herbs. Thyme, oregano, different types of parsley, chives.
I don't like dill.
We don't particularly like dill or coriander.
I don't like dill at all. Like, it's funny, but I like those cucumbers that got dill in it. But I don't like you putting it in our food.
It's like coriander. If I use that musselman, there's a bit of coriander in the actual mix, but it's not like leaves of coriander.
Yeah, but don't add any more.
Yeah, I think too much coriander
Oh.
on your plate, as in fresh, is just too overpowering.
I'll probably just drink half this. I'll be up peeing all night.
I was out years ago, I would have only been about 20-something, working for the water supply, and we were going up through the hills, the little creeks and dams that come off to feed the main estuary. And in one, there was an area where there's 3 or 4 runoffs, and I was asked to open up a channel to let a bit of flow go through, so we're doing that. We stumbled upon, I'm not kidding you, about 8 foot high, and for the whole length of the runoff was marijuana plants. And they had just grown naturally. No one ever planted them there. Obviously the seeds came down somehow, but there were 3 or 4 runoffs. But you couldn't see them when you're standing on the hill because the actual growth of the plant was in like a little ravine. It was amazing. One of my mates said, oh, we could take in a few clippings home. And I didn't smoke it, so. But it was just amazing. Our boss said, should we destroy it? I said, well, it's been here, obviously, because it would have been years and years, just self-seeded. Got the moisture it needed, got the sunlight it needed.
Oh, gosh.
Kush. Kush. Oh, the kids are back on their motorbikes. There's hundreds of names for it. Mary Jane was the most common when I was a kid.
Oh, is there another name for...
There's all sorts of names
Is
for
there
it.
another name for dope?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, see?
Hello, Buttercup. It will be legal in Australia soon, but it's never been a problem.
But how do you say it? Kush.
Kush is how I remember it being said. Like if you were doing it phonetically, you go K-O-O-S-H, Kush.
And that's another word for dope.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
why? So why do
If
you...
I asked these guys to give me names of marijuana, they'd come up with 20 at least.
was that code names given in the past? Why is there so many names for one plant?
Because it's where it's done. See, Kush.
Oh, the Hindu. Okay.
But there's all sorts of names. I remember all different types of names being used for it. Most people will use the words wacky weed, of course.
Yeah, I know that.
Mary Jane.
Just, it's no wonder people get confused. Just call it dope, marijuana, whatever.
I never took it, but I remember when I was a kid, the most common drug around, there was always marijuana, but the most common drug around was LSD. I kid you not, just come in little perforations, like you pump out a little round portion. People were all getting wasted on that, drinking Cinzano
Cinzano.
and taking LSD. The Scarlet 70s, I mean, is in the coloured scarlet, not your name. You know, the purples, the greens, the blues. Sativa and indica. There are lots of types of marijuana, all different types. I've seen a plant many years ago where the heads were just enormous, but the plant was about 2.5 feet high, wasn't very big, but their heads were like baseball bats. So there's all different varieties. THC is different in each of them. Yeah, Panama Red, Colombian Gold. It's funny, in the 60s and 70s, LSD, and then you got into like heroin came in the 80s in a big way. All sorts of drugs. Seems to have eras of drugs. Now it's pills. Most common is ice, of course. Methamphetamines. I think I did read somewhere methamphetamine use in Australia has never been as high as it is now. Monstrous amount of times that, you know, parcels are found with, or even containers found with a ton of the stuff is quite common. I truly believe that if you can smoke marijuana and it eases pain or discomfort or depression, let people smoke the damn shit. The drugs are never the problem. The drugs have never been the problem. It's the criminality associated with it. Make all drugs available for everybody. I don't care. Drink, smoke, inject, whatever you damn well please. The consequences of your actions, if they are criminal, you'll face the court for it. But not because you took the damn drug. I did read statistically in America, Australia, England, most Western cultures, the most common drug of choice is still Valium. I thought nefarious was a French omelette. I'm just kidding. Oh, I remember the war on drugs in the 80s, chick. America was going to crush Colombia and all these other countries, going to crush them. What happened? A lot of the CIA guys got involved with the drug trade. There's never been more drugs in America than there ever been now. There was never a war on drugs at all. A war on public opinion, maybe. Look, we're doing something. Nah, God, these guys are good. Nah, they were corrupt. I never saw anyone go to jail in my country for growing and smoking their own marijuana. It just didn't happen. If you grew an acre of it and started to sell it on the street, yeah, that person went to jail.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to have it now.
Look, please just turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
They're not interested.
They haven't really arrested, only if you start going stupid or try selling it and all the rest of it.
Well, it's like one of these weird things with governments. If you're making money out of selling drugs, they're not making money. That's the crime.
Well, at least he called you Buttercup, Butty. With all the other names that Adam usually comes out with for you.
It's a weird thing, drugs, for God's sake.
That was Butty's food I showed you, not Mel's, by the way.
Yeah, teeth pain is not pleasant. I remember a lady once saying, she was asked the question, giving birth or tooth pain? She said, I'll give birth to 100 children. She had really bad wisdom tooth, dropped down, cracked about 4 teeth, absolute agony for months. So she said, yep, I'll take childbirth over a bad tooth.
Yeah, because that pain goes away as soon as you have that child. It doesn't last forever.
Oh, are you saying the word butter? Butterfuck. Yeah, that rings a bell. Could make a might make a t-shirt for you now. So when you come to Australia, walk around the streets not wearing a bra, have the big blazing words on the front, Butterfuck. Yeah, not pleasant, Scarlett. It's still the most expensive thing to undertake in Australia, is teeth.
Yeah, well, how many people are going to be going overseas now to get their teeth done? Not many.
Yeah, I agree with Adam. I actually had a tooth extracted late on an evening. Dentist was about to close, and he said, I don't think I've got any Novocaine left. I said, I don't care whether you've got Novocaine or not, you're going to rip it out. He put in, I don't know what it was, the smallest vial, didn't make any effect. And when he was pulling the tooth, it hurt. But as soon as I heard that crack and it came out, I said, you little beauty. I did bleed like a stuck pig for about a day, but I was glad to have the little bugger out. They removed my teeth with a hammer and chisel. Did you go to a Democratic dentist? I'm only kidding. Welcome to Hillary Clinton Dental Services. What's your name?
Scarlett will throw her coffee at you.
Scarlett, come here.
Scarlett, don't throw your coffee, you'll make it.
Yeah, my mum had the same thing. She had all her teeth out and had to have gums stitched. She had to suck on a straw for about 2 months. They actually had some weird dental tools I saw in England, going back to about 9th century. They were quite intricate, but they were basically just to lever the tooth out, and then had these tiny little pliers that would wheedle. Look, the biggest cause of death until modern man learnt about medicine was caries, tooth decay. Biggest killer of humanity. You could be fit and healthy, strapping 30-year-old man and come down with an infection and die. A big hero sandwich.
God, Scarlett.
And then he sat in front of you and ate it. I guess you have no association with this man any longer. don't have to have fluoride. I bet Scarlett has no fluoride, chick. Yep, there you go. No fluoride at Scarlett's. Well, hopefully you're over that now, Adam. Don't have to have high fructose corn syrup either.
Yeah, when you get tooth
If you're
pain-
buying processed food, chick, you're to blame.
Tooth pain just wears you down. It can make you sick.
I might get in to do some painting soon. In my latter years, I began to paint nudes mainly, nude birds, parrots.
Yeah, you've got to put the feathers on them.
Yes, I shaved them. They're quirky paintings, but they should sell well. Yeah, see, when I was a kid, no one drank pop soda. No one drank it.
I'm with you, Adam. Actually, no, I used to be a good drawer. I can't say I wasn't. I did was.
I tell you what I did, and I love this art, Adam. A person used to take beautiful photographs of different things, animals, insects, all sorts of things. And then somehow he would transpose that onto paper. He had some sort of stencil that he could use the photograph to put the image on paper, and then he would paint the image. And I thought, what a weird concept, but what a beautiful format for
I was
art.
so laughing at buttercups.
I can draw a mean stick man.
Yeah, I'm with you, buttercup.
I think the artistic flair in you needs to be released, Buttercup. Several vodkas later, here, give me the paintbrush. And it'll be on the back of our wall. Buttercup was here.
Now, come on, people have made millions of dollars out of drawing stick men. There's even games that it's a stick man. They've made millions out of it, so what are you doing, Buttercup? Start writing a program.
Have to start taking you down the river so you can use your camera. Get some good photos going.
Yeah, black and white. Some photos just should be in black and white. Hey, black and white is some beautiful photos.
It's like etchings. That's probably the comparison in the old days, etchings. Some people's etchings fetch millions of dollars these days.
I mean, you just look, yeah.
Charcoal drawings.
Some art I just don't understand. Like, to be honest, and he's Australian, Ken Doan art. I do not get his art. It does not appeal to me. Google him if you don't know who he is.
The art is ambivalent. It's like
It just...
not specific art. It's like colours mainly as.
But I
difference.
like colours, but it just... I don't know. I just don't... His art just doesn't do anything for me.
I did that years ago when I was first learning photography. The different emulsions you use. Some really stunk. I think it was the fixer. You know, when you've got your photograph at the stage, you want to finish it off and you put it in the fixer. Whew.
And it's like... I like going to art galleries to see what people find interesting or what it sells for. That interests me, but some art, I would never hang it in my house.
It's like the British Museum. If you ever get the opportunity, you'll need a few days. It's so big, but you'll just be blown away. Yep, I'm with you, Buttercup. It's just like even with sepia or black and white.
Yeah, I like that sort of tone.
Seems to accentuate the picture. So who here can play a musical instrument?
I can't even play the spoons.
Had to sell your kit for rent. So now you just annoy the neighbours by banging on your dustbin lids. Shut up!
And bowls with wooden spoons.
Yes. Turn the pans upside down. Get the little glass top. If you're a drummer, you have rhythm, which means a lot of drummers can sing quite well, actually. A lot of drummers don't sing in bands, but they usually have great rhythm. Tiny bit of piano. Tried guitar.
Triangle. I can play the
Tambourine. I'm a pro.
I can
So when you were playing the piano,
triangle.
did you hold it up like a guitar? Did you find that a little tiring? Tippity tapping everything. Still have my sticks, and yep, I can sing. Most drummers can. I've met a lot of people in bands over the years, and drummers usually don't get to sing,
Okay, that's it.
but usually they're pretty good.
I want a song from Adam for me now.
Hey, Mystic, what you doing with that hairy Sasquatch? Hey, Mystic.
Adam, next video, a song to me, please.
I'll get one put in before you get here, Buttercup.
Oh yeah, the piano, isn't it amazing? The flute, love the flute. Drum, yeah, drums.
We could have our
guitar.
own band here. Buttercup singing, me on lead guitar, Chick on bass, Adam on drums. We got it. We're there.
Scarlett and I play the spoons.
Good music, good times. Yes. Get up his jug in
Oh,
the
clarinet.
morning
Yeah, my sister used to play the
and
clarinet.
sing late at night now.
I wonder if she's still got her
Make
clarinet.
sure the piss jug is empty, or you will choke. Now listen, bum, 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 bum.
And the harmonica is another instrument. It's good to listen to people. I used to have a harmonica, and I had a little baby miniature one.
Told a story about Andy. You met Andy now.
Yeah.
He, we were just at a camp. Someone was playing guitar, singing at a good time. Someone had a harmonica, and they just handed it to him. He never played an instrument in his life. In 2 minutes, he was the centre of attention because he just had it. He just got it worked out. He said, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's working. And how is the decrepit, morbidly obese can man going? Is he still going, or has he been pushed to the curb, swept up by the road sweeper of time? Won't be long. Chick says I got into a band in Germany by default. I looked cool and a rocker, and it didn't take much convincing me to get in a few bands. Those were the days. For a few years, ended up hating him in the end, but it was fun. Roadies, the pair of you. We're going to do a national tour. What's the name of the band going to be called? Buttercup's the lead singer. Buttercup and the Dishevelled.
Yeah, I bet you can sing Buttercup, can't you?
Yeah, I bet she's like, if we could just do her hair sort of in blonde, and she could wear like Deborah Harry clothes of the 80s.
She probably doesn't even know who Deborah Harry is.
Oh, yeah, she would. Heart of Glass. Feels like the real thing, only to find. Da da da, da 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 da. Ooh. I can do that in the background when you sing a Buttercup. Ooh.
That didn't sound right.
It's like, I wonder who has the most dementia. The one in the van or the one in the institution? I think it's touch and go. And the raindrops fall in start of winter. Before, during and after the wall came down, then moved to LA. I'm starting to wonder, you're in Germany just before the fall of the wall. Of course, we're talking 89, so we're talking, are you David Hasselhoff? Chick, is that who you really are? I'm sure you get the joke. You were thinking of Deborah Harry.
Oh, snap. Spooky.
I could never work out why the Germans thought he was a good singer. It was funny. Even he said, I don't know what they're seeing me, because I sing crap. But they love the shit. There's a few other places he did. Iceland. Where else? No, it was Germany. France didn't like him at all. Los Angeles. There is a pertinent fact about Los Angeles. It is the city most destroyed in movies. Did you know that? Along with really being destroyed in 1906. But yeah, it's the most destroyed city in movies. I think the San Francisco Bridge has been destroyed about 30 times.
Who sneezed? Did you sneeze?
No, I think someone's preempting someone to sneeze. He's a clairvoyant. He's a savant.
Must have been our resident ghost that sneezed.
Ah, you're hearing voices. Listen to my voice. The 90s, okay. I only got one ear in. He's got two legs off, one arm off, and he's only got one ear in.
And he took the glass eye out.
All that is shiny is not gold, that's for sure. I did find a video, I forget what it was called, Buttercup, but it's Billy Connolly in Australia. And it was a behind the scenes video. And the local crew was saying, what do you think of Australia, Billy? He says, fucking hot. And it was about 40 degrees. He was in Adelaide or something.
Yeah, well, Adelaide gets hotter.
No, I think a lot of big cities, they're all the same. They're sort of dirty, lonely places full of millions of people who don't talk to each other.
No, there's some cities that aren't like that. Singapore is a very nice city.
I thought one of the best movies that Billy Connolly did, it was, what was it called? He was suing God because his insurance company wasn't paying out on his boat because they said it was an act of God. So he said, all right, I'm taking God to court. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
What was it
Yeah,
called?
I can't remember.
I don't think it was called God.
Billy Connolly also did a short role in a series of unfortunate events.
A series of unfortunate events. The Baudelaire children
Yeah.
had their parents murdered, their house burnt down, and Jim Carrey stole all their money. That is a series of unfortunate events. Yeah. Yep, that would be pretty true, chick. A sort of surreal world. Not real by any means.
Oh, it is interesting going to other cities though. They're not all the same.
A lot of cities are like that though, chick, for sure. What did Adam call it? It was what we did on our holiday. It was funny. Great movie. I can't remember the movie of Billy Connolly. I know he sued God in court.
What's that wind?
Yeah, I think that's pretty true of big cities, people going into areas particularly where there is movie production houses and whatever, and becoming waiters and waitresses or just washing dishes, waiting for your next big break to be an extra with 1,000 other people in a zombie movie. Oh, I've been in the movies. Yeah, what were you in? Oh, I was in that one with Brad Pitt, you know, the Z thing. Yeah. What was your role? Oh, I was in amongst all the other zombies. Oh, right. Did you make the credits? Nah. Got $200 a day though. Hawaii looks nice. Hawaii looks a little bit like Australia in many places.
Yeah, it'd be good to go to Hawaii, Fiji one day.
Hawaii, Fiji.
We're two different places, I know.
They're
But
a long way apart.
yeah, it's
They're
alright.
on opposite sides of the planet.
The
You gotta
Man Who Sued God.
That's it. The Man Who Sued God. That's the name of the movie.
You got fired from being an extra chick. How in the hell did you manage that?
He didn't act zombie enough. I should make up stories along the lines of like Planet of the Apes, but I should call it Planet of the Boit.
Yeah, what's
The Return of Planet of the Boit. Underneath the Planet of the Boit. I saw a very funny, you'll find it on YouTube, Cecil B. DeMille movie. I think it was to do with Yul Brynner and the Israelites Moses, could have been Moses, where in one of the scenes, and it's still in the movie, there's a guy wearing a watch.
Yeah, there's a few mistakes like that in movies.
And it was never picked up.
There was something Dad used to always pick up in what he called spaghetti westerns.
Once I was a waitress and spoke. That's a no-no. Okay? You wear what you like, chick.
No, that was her line in the as an
Oh,
extra.
right.
Previous to that, she said once she wouldn't wear what they wanted her to. She made a scene and got the sack.
Okay. But there's a few movies like that where they've got modern applications.
They forgot.
Yeah.
There's people out there who specifically watch movies
just
who
pick up.
put mistakes. Yeah.
I remember when I played in Lord of the Rings, there was many occasions where a damn hobbit would get inside the shot. So we'd just throw them off the cliff. They were playing New Zealanders to replace hobbits and orcs. If all of you had an opportunity to have played a leading role in a movie, who would you have been and what movie? What movie would you have been in?
Something to do with witches or medieval.
Oh, so it could have been like Lord of the Rings.
Witches of Eastwick.
The elves. Oh, well, yeah, that's a bit different.
Comedy. Witches of Eastwick. I could be Bette Midler's sister.
Little Curly. So what movie would you have been the lead actor or actress in? And what was the name of the movie? Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. See, that's class. She's going straight for the epic actresses of the time. What did Buttercup say?
I don't even know what a SAG card is. What's a SAG card, Buddy?
I don't know. I think it happens to you when you get over 50 as a woman.
Oh, by the way, Scarlett, you and I played the spoons in the band that Seeds has formed.
No, she's the lead singer.
No, Buddy's the lead singer.
So
Scarlett
Buttercup
and I
wants to be
played the
Anthony
spoons.
Hopkins.
Oh,
You're nothing
Anthony-
but mere white trash. One generation away from depravity.
Anthony Hopkins. I see Screen Actors Guild. Oh, okay.
James Lipton.
Oh, there you go. You've got a harmonica list.
I can play a harmonica.
I was saying I like that instrument, the harmonica. I'll be playing the triangle or the spoons by myself.
You can do a solo performance. Lights dim, spotlight hits you. Tick, 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 tick,
Yep.
tick, 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 tick.
My dad used to play the accordion.
On floor of the I can play mantle.
I'm with you, buddy.
You're going to be having a long black wig on pushing a broom, aren't you, Buttercup?
What do you mean buy one for thousands? What, it's a card? A Screen Actors Guild? Oh, so I have to look out for those. Are they collector's items, are they? I shall hunt.
I might
Good
actually
stores.
go to Hollywood and see if I can break into the movie industry. I'll take a little stick with a little handkerchief full of food, bread, jam, cheese, things like that, and I'll hit Sunset Boulevard and say, "Hello, Sunset Boulevard, I'm here."
sounds all a bit too involved for me.
I don't know who you are, but I will find you. And when I find you, I will kill you. What movie was that?
I don't know. Oh, so I have milk and a tiny bit of sugar in mine, please, Adam, and cheesecake with mine, thanks.
Almond Joy Creamer. Okay,
Almond.
almond.
Oh, that reminds me, I bought almond milk to try it, and I don't. Where have I put it on this fridge?
You probably put it in the witchcraft room.
Yeah, probably. I better check the use by date. Not the
Harrison
right?
Ford.
I mean, that's-
Ba-da-ba. No, wasn't that one.
no.
The actor's name was Liam Neeson.
Oh,
Remember when his daughter got kidnapped?
I
I don't know who you are,
My almond milk's gone.
but I will find you. And when I find you, I'll force you to dance with Buttercup.
Yes, you must have been. Is that why you were gone so long, Adam? Because you were milking the almonds.
Buttercup, you may be nearer to the source. Is there going to be another series of Red Dwarf? The boys are getting a bit old. Oh yeah, you can imagine these love-making scenes, or pretend love-making scenes. You're in bed with a beautiful woman and the camera's in close. There's 5 gaffers, 4 cameras, 16 other staff, 120 people in the room. And the director says, now make it look like none of us are here. Yeah, right.
What? I missed what you said.
Love scenes in movies when there's
Oh.
like 30 or 40 people around.
Yeah, well, that would
Show
have
the
been-
passion. You're kidding me, right?
That would have been fun in that. What's the name? What's the series we loved? Highlander.
Yes.
Is it Highlander? Yeah, or Outlander. Highlander.
I don't know what almond cows look like, but I suppose they have a job to do. I was on the stage at the age of 9. Yes,
Yeah, I was
this is true.
school play.
In the stage production of Aladdin. Wasn't the leading role, but I was one of the frogs next to the king. And occasionally I had a speaking role, like Ribbit, Ribbit.
You
So-
would have been one huge frog.
I look more like a stick insect than a frog, to be honest. I think the frog uniform came up to my knees and my elbows.
I think we've all done something in a school play.
Now,
Oh,
this was a production. It wasn't anything to do with the school.
oh,
I got raped in. It was a ballet. That's what it was.
so you had tights on.
No, just a very short frog uniform sitting next to a large king's chair going, Ribbit. They had another show in April 2020. Are you saying that it's a new series, Buttercup?
That's,
When you say another show, is it a one-off or was it the start of Series 13? Because they've done Series 12.
that's just about finished, isn't it? Making series. They're all getting too old to do it.
Well, they are getting a bit old.
They wore
Robert
lots of
Llewellyn.
makeup in the last lot, that you could tell.
It was called The Promised Land. Could you find me a link, Buttercup? I'm sort of a dwarfy. I'm a Whovian to a degree, but I'm definitely a dwarfy.
Well, you'll have, if it's not a YouTube link, she'll have to send it to you through WhatsApp.
That's what I mean.
Adam was in Oliver Twist, and his brother Sam. My brother Sam is dead. A Civil War play about 2 brothers fighting in the war. One fought for.
Yeah, that was quite common actually, wasn't it, Adam? In reality.
So you were in Oliver Twist.
Please, sir, can I have some more? What did you say, boy? Can I have some more, please?
Yeah, but it might have been on TV. How can she send you a link?
Well, if there's a link in reference to even an article or something like
Ah.
that. Wait a moment. To say it might have been a one-off and may not actually have happened at all. I might have been dreaming. Buttercup,
That's not what she wrote.
are you drinking vodka? Vodka is good for the soul. I went to Arcadia, Toads, and a few places. It was like, beach. This is where in hang out. I've never found famous people famous. They're just people that do a job. Some are very good at that job, let's be honest. But if I walked past and saw Anthony Hopkins, I might say, g'day. I'm not going to go, oh, Anthony.
Jeez, I would.
No.
I'd be like Emily, I'd be stalking
No,
her.
it's never been. They're just people. They're people. Oh, I see. You led me down the path. I was excited. My eyes were glistening. My pace had quickened behind you. And then we got to the promised land of Red Dwarf. The pond was empty. I am shattered. I walk mournfully up the hill to the house in the mist. What have you done? Give it life. Give it life. It was a 90-minute special, so it'll happen at some point, but doesn't say when. Or it might be a stage play. I'm not sure, because they have a meeting every year, of course. The Dwarfians get together. But thank you anyway. You give me a little bit of dwarf. Oh, that sounds like a biking on a 45cc motorcycle. Meet me.
Adam played Fagin.
Ah, I see, you're Fagin. Hampden Court. Ever been to the town cry in New York? With the town cries all over the UK.
Actually, talking to chick.
No, but I'm just saying in the UK they're paid to do the job.
Well, the town crier must be a pub.
Used to be a lawmaker of some sorts way back in time. I think I may need to go and get some more tobacco. Do you need any?
Oh, probably not. No.
Right, I'll be back.
I'm going to see some butt, but no legs because they're covered. He's got his legs covered, Butty. Sorry. It's too cold to wear shorts. I'd like to meet famous people. I'd be one of those mad people that'd chase them down the street. I want a photo with you. That's like going to when we went to Europe. I wanted a photo with the German police, but I mean they're pretty scary. They don't even like you to talk to them, so I skipped that one. There he is, Butty. But he's got long pants on.
It's cold.
Sent you the link.
But he did.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you, my lady. Oh, look, I'm just walking back into the room now. That's scary. My other self followed me.
Your doppelganger. My My ancestry, yes, I am. I'm German. Well, actually, yeah.
Germanic.
Half Gypsy, half German. Actually, I'd be quarter Gypsy. Dad was half Gypsy. Yeah. My grandmother was a Gypsy.
I fell in love with a gypsy.
That's a
I
good
forget
song
her
until
name.
that one little bit that he sings.
That's funny.
It was a good song until that bit. Yes, I only found out 12 months before Mum passed that I had a full-blood Gypsy grandmother. That explains me so much.
Gypsies, when I was a kid, used to walk alongside the rail lines and park in the fields
Pants to that.
and then come into the town. Steal stuff.
Not all Gypsies were like that.
Don't be talking to them gypsy people now. They'll steal you and take you away. It's another myth. Gypsies were always blamed for missing children.
Yes. Adam is German Italian. Wow, what a combination.
Hey, what you doing, mate? Come sta? Das ist gut. Come sta? Gypsy music is
yes,
good. Yep.
I like Gypsy music.
I like my schnitzels with Mariana. That's an Italian-German dish by Adam.
Yes, that would be. Oh, I love schnitzel. Chicken schnitzel probably the best. I've got to be honest, I don't like veal schnitzel anymore.
Done properly, it's okay.
No, it's the fact of what it is
Baby cow.
that turned me off.
My
I know
baby
that sounds
cow.
hypocritical and I
Not
a little bit of meat, but I prefer chicken schnitzel. Danish and Italian. Wow, that's a combination as well.
Tanglewood, Meryl Streep.
My brother-in-law was Danish. Oh, pork schnitzel, yeah.
I tell you what I do like doing is getting a pork chop with the bone in and bashing out the meat, but leaving it on the bone. It just adds that
Yeah,
je ne sais quoi flavour to the meal.
you should try that, Adam.
Egg and breadcrumbs. Oh,
But the one with the bone, yeah. Pork's okay. Prefer schnitzel, chicken. Yeah, you would be Danish Italian.
oui. S'il vous plaît, mon ami.
Go play.
Go
Sounds
play.
French, I know. I'd love to learn more languages. I'm just too lazy.
Have you thought of maybe learning English?
Oh, shut up.
Je parle français. Non,
Yes, try it with the bone, Adam. Bash the hell out of the meat.
non parlez-vous français.
Crumb it and fry it. Yes, there's a lot I would have liked to have done in life. I will admit I'm just too lazy when it comes to having to study.
No, you summed it up. You're lazy.
I am.
Yeah.
With that, in that respect, I just couldn't be bothered.
Boneless pork. Good idea, though. Try the. Yeah, I tell you what is probably the best cut of pork, my opinion, is Scotch fillet off the pork. It's a bit fattier than normal, but my God, it makes
Okay,
a brilliant
Scarlett.
schnitzel.
See ya.
I must start my day. Adieu, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.
Practice your harmonica for the band, Scarlett. And I'll be waiting for a song from Adam on his
Yes.
channel.
It'll be an Italian-German version of Skip to My Lou. Just getting a gentle spittle of rain the day before winter. Now's the time to come out, Buttercup. The temperature is 14 degrees at night, freezing, of course. By morning, it could be down to 8. You didn't eat meat until you moved to Germany. I bet things changed when you got there. Germans like meat.
When she moved to Germany, she didn't eat meat.
Oh, da da
Yep.
da 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 da.
All right, so you're going to dress up as well. Cool.
Mac the Knife. Good old song, that one. I like that one.
Buddy asked you a question.
Is that the same as pork tenderloin? That's my favourite pork. No, Scotch fillet. It's a bit different. I don't know if you could go to your butcher and ask for a piece of Scotch fillet. It's like a fillet, obviously, but it's further down. Pork tenderloin is further up, like the really nice bit in the middle of the pig. I think the Scotch fillet's further down there, or up near the shoulder could be. There's quite a lot of fat on it, but it just makes the best schnitzel. It batters out, you can make it thin if you like. I never make my schnitzels any thinner than about a quarter of an inch. If you go any thinner, you end up burning everything.
Oh, it cooks quick. You basically, to do it properly, you deep fry it.
But I would have starved if I didn't eat meat. Yes, there's basically, if you go to any market in Germany, there's always sausages.
And bread.
There's all types of meats that you can get, and fish. They love their fish and seafood.
More the pickled fish, though.
Yeah, a lot of preserved fish, weren't they?
Yeah, not so much fresh, but more preserved, which I don't like.
One thing you don't really find in Germany is fish and chip shops, as a rule.
Not like wing night.
No, but in the UK and Australia, they're everywhere. We'll do a fish and chip night, saying we'll go and get some fish and chips, bring them home and show you. Bloody delicious. Bargain.
I've just become a bit even more fussy with fish since I had that bone in that one.
Bread is good. Or what do they call it? Brot.
Brought.
Brot. It's probably the main breakfast for Germans is bread
Butter.
in some form.
You have never made schnitzel.
Oh,
my God. Is there a schnitzel
Are you a
video on your
virgin
channel?
schnitzler?
Is there a schnitzel
There's
video?
heaps of schnitzels on my channels.
Well, you actually making it?
Hmm.
I can't believe it, Buddy. Even I have made schnitzel.
Sounds good to me, Adam. More than happy to have someone else cook.
Yep. Swedish meatballs. That's a big thing in IKEA, Australia IKEA, is their meatballs. Everybody always goes to IKEA for the meatballs and mash.
I always put bread in my meatballs. Probably about 3 or 4 slices of bread mixed in with the mince, herbs, garlic, onions. If you just use ground beef to make meatballs, they end up being just rock balls. Could have some lighter texture in there. Oh no, your father lost his mind. No, I'm the same with you. I've eaten a lot of food in a lot of really good restaurants, and I'm thinking, yeah, that was all right. But I'm thinking, geez, I could do a better job.
Or you can do a video next time you make them, Adam.
The skinny days. My name before the 1990s, Buttercup says, was Twiggy. Skinny is not all good, Buttercup, trust me. There's nothing wrong in looking Rubenistic. Yeah, it's got to be a mixture of pork and beef. Lamb even, yeah, you're right. Beef just goes too tight. pork allows the fat to get in there, of course. But I can't believe Buttercup's never had a schnitzel. Well, it's pretty simple. It doesn't matter what you use. The best schnitzel to learn is to make a chicken schnitzel. Get a full breast and try and cut it in half.
Yeah, make it thinner.
You can butterfly it, but if you just plain cut it in half, you'll have one small bit and one bigger bit. And just get some cellophane, as you call it. I'm speaking English now. We call it Glad Wrap. And just gently beat it out with a little beater. And then flour. I always season my flour, salt and pepper. But, you know, it's just your preference. You can just use flour and get it coated and then flap it around so all the flour residue comes off. Into the egg mixture, beaten egg, and then into the breadcrumbs, which you can also flavour. I like putting Parmesan cheese in my breadcrumbs.
And push the crumbs onto it.
Yep, keep turning it over, push it about 4 or 5 times until it's coated, and then put it onto a plate. But the most important part is to then cover it and put it in the fridge for at least an hour. Everything just settles down and it's a little bit firmer when you hit the fry pan. And medium, not high, not low, medium, so it sizzles. Depends how thick you have your schnitzel, but chicken is the best thing to learn to make a schnitzel.
Yeah, just do a recording of you cooking, Adam. If you've got a stand to put your phone on or whatever you use.
You know, for years, Adam, all I ever used was the upturned lid of a biscuit barrel. Our little biscuit barrel's got a little knob on top, so I just turn it upside down so it's flat. I used to put my phone on that, and a lot of my videos are made with that apparatus.
Yes, and
A
Seeds,
biscuit tin.
and Seeds does put parmesan in his breadcrumbs sometimes.
I do it for chicken.
Yeah.
I don't do it for beef or lamb or anything like that. I've eaten sushi. It doesn't really sparkle me at all.
I don't like the raw sushi. I won't eat that one.
I had a Japanese friend years ago who used to have the horseradish sauce and the wasabi and all that, and it was okay, but it seemed like a lot of faffing around to me. It doesn't matter what it is, get about 8 or 9 inches up in the air, and you don't even have to talk. I've done my soup video with me narrating. In other words, I didn't speak while I was cooking. I just went back later and pressed the button that says narrate, and then it starts on the recording, and you just talk. And it's easier afterwards, actually, because looking back on what you did at the time, you might say something different, but when you've got the aspect of just narrating, it's easy. But you don't even have to narrate, just put a bit of music to it. But you don't need to record you. As people often say, oh, I don't really want to get in front of the camera. I said, well, don't. You don't have to get in front of the camera.
Because you're going to be busy, Adam. You're going to do some cooking videos and sing a song to me.
Sounds good. But just beat them out. No less than, if you go below 1/4 inch, it just ends up getting stringy and falling apart, Buttercup. So, but you'll figure that out. I use a little meat beater, you know, the ones with little knobbles in it. Oh, Buttercup likes a bit of raw.
So you like raw sushi. Can't even say it. Sushi.
I knew sushi like I knew sushi. You don't have to be in front of the camera. In fact, if you went through, and I'll be honest, I've got hundreds of cooking videos, and I'm rarely in front of the camera. That's the truth. I'm rarely in front of the camera. So you don't have to be. You don't even have to talk. Some of my videos in the early days, I wasn't talking. Some of my popular videos, obviously, are products look like fast food when I make my mock fish. People love that stuff. Potatoes, egg, bit of flour, salt, pepper, fry. They go, ooh, I love that. But when I do a intricate video about processes and methods of cooking, no one's really interested. I know this. They just want to eat the stuff. They don't want to know how it was made.
I actually haven't checked my email. I sent Adam an email. Or did you answer me, Adam? I can't remember.
Well,
Yeah,
there's mercury in most fish you buy, Adam, believe it or not.
Depends where the fish comes from.
get fish from Australia, you're pretty good.
I don't eat raw sushi, I eat cooked stuff. There's two different sushis.
I can make fish and chips like you buy in the shop. You like your fish battered, don't you?
Yeah.
You can have it egg and breadcrumb, that's nice as well.
It is, but it depends on the fish.
I think when I do the whiting, you like them in egg and breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Very tender.
I'm just too paranoid about finding a bone.
There's a lot of restaurants in cities that have sushi, but the option is you don't actually have to have raw fish.
Yes, there is cooked.
So you've got plates that come through that no fish. So it looks like something that is not.
No, it's still wrapped in whatever they wrap sushi in, Adam, but everything's cooked. There's no raw in there.
I had a mate, Japanese mate, who was a tuna fisherman. He'd get 8-10 grand for a fish sometimes.
So I don't really like tuna anymore.
Do you want to go fishing in the Arctic, Buttercup? But I'd encourage all of you that can cook or just want to show your wares of what food you eat, types, just do a video. You can even, I've seen lots of videos that just have a little bit of music in the background, but they'll type in little segments. It'll say like, add the sauce,
Well, that's sort of some of my
bake at
ones.
certain temperature. No one's speaking, it's just words on the screen as they go along. People for years and years have said, can I have the recipe? And I'm going, I don't do recipes. Well, that's not very nice. I only asked for the recipe. I said, look, just watch the bloody video. It's a bit of this, a dash of that. Figure it out. I like to get back to fishing down the beach, catching some whiting, little campfire, the wife playing the banjo.
No,
Ding, ding, ding.
the triangle.
Yeah, we got a lot of bluefin in Australia. I'm not keen. I mean, I've caught and eaten tuna. It's fine. Yes, it's chicken of the ocean, but it's not chicken, okay?
I stopped eating tuna when they got caught. Actually, it was dolphin. I don't think I ever had a tin of it, but someone got caught using dolphin. Thankfully, early enough in the process, and that's when I stopped eating tuna.
So if you were going to cook and do a video, not saying you are going to do this video, but if you were going to cook and do a video, what would it be?
Who, Adam?
Yeah, I've had abalone.
His first one's got to be the Swedish meatballs.
Abalone's okay. You mustn't overcook abalone. It becomes like rubber.
No, I've never had
I can take you to go and get some abalone if you like, Buttercup. You have to walk on the reef where the sharks are. The waves come busting in, but you get some abalone.
I haven't had abalone. Not interested.
A lot of people used to get it, cut out the centre guts and beat it out with it, but they'd cook it and be overcooked. Just whack her in flour, gently fry. The time to eat it is when it spits you in the eye. Psst, it's cooked. Swedish meatballs is my vote. Nothing wrong with spam, don't get me wrong,
Oh yeah, that as well.
but I'm interested in the Swedish meatball.
You could do both, Adam.
What was it like?
Swedish meatballs, yeah.
A lot of times I'd do it just in flour and salt and pepper. So it's meaty. See, all different types of things have different tastes. If I said to you, what do scallops taste like? It's hard, you know what I mean? It's hard to give a description or comparison. So it's definitely abalone flavour,
That makes a lot of
which,
sense.
unless you've eaten it, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's like people who've never tried scallops, and people go, oh, what does that taste like? I think scallops are magnificent. You just sear them. I cook in butter and olive oil. Sear them, and I reckon inch high scallop, probably about a minute on one side. Flip her over. You can actually see the scallop when it's done. You don't need to wait, and you can take it off and they keep cooking. So just as the centre is fading in opaqueness to cookness,
And
take it
then
off. But any longer than that, it's just a bouncing ball. Might as well try and eat a squash ball. Yeah, we get some big sea scallops here. But that's what I'm saying. What would you do a schnitzel video, Buttercup? Is that what you're thinking? Because it's really easy layout to make a schnitzel. It's basically flour, a bowl of beaten egg, usually a couple of eggs or 3, depends how many schnitzels you're making, breadcrumbs, and then cook.
What's your signature dish, Butty?
This lamb I cooked the other night was magnificent, wasn't it? Unbelievable. You'll love that. I'll cook that for when you're here, but I hope you like the lamb. It was so tender.
Yes, do the schnitzel.
If you're a little bit wary of making them public, I'm more than happy that if you just send me a link to a private video, or what do they call it,
Unlisted.
an unlisted video. So if you don't want the public to see it, I can tell you I'll be interested,
Yeah, me too.
and you can send us information to a link, and no one else can see it if that's what you want to do, or if you're brave enough, do it publicly. Scallops are great. I like, a lot of people don't, but I'll eat the roe and the scallop as well. I love it. It's got a beautiful taste to it, sweetness.
No, thank
But
you.
some people won't touch it.
No.
So Adam and Buttercup, if you'd like, do the video. I would love to watch it. You don't have to make it public at all.
Well, stop being so critical.
You are too self-aware. It's not that important. But that's your choice. You can be critical. There's no problem with that. But just give me a private link to it. Unlisted video. That way, I get to see it. And I'll be saying, well, I heard you cough. All right, I heard you breathe.
Just put music over it.
I don't care.
So we're getting good video of schnitzel off Buttercup, Swedish meatballs off Adam. You've got to start somewhere. If you make it public, it's fine. And my question, Butty, was what's your signature dish?
Bloody hell, £20 turkey. How many people live in your house, chick?
£20.
Woo. I prefer turkey leg meat than breast, because people generally overcook. And the breast meat's usually dry as a bone.
Well, I can help you with that, Adam.
Yeah, in fact, if you want to, you could send the video to Mystic Angel, and she can edit it for you
Yes.
with music, and then she can send it back, and then you can upload it to the world. She's very good at that.
Yep, that's a good idea, Butty.
That's not a problem, Adam. Jeez, you'll be eating turkey. What's for dinner tonight? Turkey sandwiches. What's tomorrow? Turkey and apricot pie. Don't tell me, turkey. Yes, for the
Yeah,
next
I was
month.
just going to ask you, Adam, what do you use? I use
iMovie Maker.
I use iMovie.
iMovie, yeah.
That's the main one I use because I have that on my Mac computer as well as my phone.
Here's Adam's very first video. Hi, I'm making Swedish meatballs. Yes, ladies.
Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, I'm not keen on Windows Movie Maker.
No,
It is.
iMovie is good because you can just cut, delete, edit. add music, add narration.
So you've got a Windows 10 Adam.
Adam's got a computer just that was prior made to the Stone Age.
Yeah. What's your phone again,
It
Adam?
uses 2 rocks to tap out letters.
Windows Movie Maker has improved if you've got the latest one. Oh, roast dinner.
So if you want, do you know how to edit stuff and add music, Buttercup? I'm sure you do, because you're clever, aren't you? Go on, say it. Yes, I'm clever.
But Butty's got a good voice. She could just talk.
Oh yeah, I'll rip the kilt off this piece of chicken, and I'm bashing out my breasts as we speak. No one will watch the cooking, but they'll listen to your voice.
That's all right. Just video it. Even if you use the camera to video it, I can still add music to it.
If you just send even like a 3 or 4 minute video through email, Mr. Gainesville can download it, and you can say to her what sort of music you'd like, and she can find it, 'cause she's
No,
clever.
I'll actually put him on WhatsApp because he's not going to make a 3 or 4
Oh,
minute
right. Okay.
Swedish meatball video. It's going to take longer. So I'll have to. Let me just check something.
And this is just my opinion, guys. Don't pander to those people that say, well, how many teaspoons of this? How many tablespoons of that? How much butter was used? I always say, watch the bloody video. You will never find a video with me saying 2 ounces of sugar, a pinch of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking. None of that, you'll never see that, because I don't care. If you're not watching, you're not learning. And the only way to really learn is to cook.
Yes, 2015, great.
Another good learning process for cooking is people making whatever bread product. Focaccia, buns, rolls, pizzas, whatever. It's not an art form, it's pretty basic and pretty simple. The original pizza dough was simply a pinch of salt, no yeast, flour, water, and maybe a bit of olive oil. That's it. There's no mystery in making a pizza base. Depends how much of which you add, which makes it either crispier or thicker. The little stand. Oh, cool. I'm glad you got a stand. Yeah, you'll often hear me say, about 2 tablespoons. I really don't know. I will say, slow down the video and watch the glugs.
That would have been a good video, chick. Cooking your turkey by torchlight.
Yeah, what did we cook the other night by torchlight? What was that?
Oh,
Which we had
spring
no-
rolls.
Oh, that's right. Spring rolls, they were yum. I'll be making them again. I'll probably make more of a veggie one next time. And I might put some pork, ground pork in there. Pork, ginger, onion, garlic. Plenty of veg in the garden now. For me, turkey is okay, but I've had turkey at people's place and I think, geez, they've overcooked the damn thing again. You know when the skin's pocketing and coming out and they cut the breast and it looks like a piece of leather? I always head for the legs
I don't, the breast.
because they've got moisture in there. And it tastes a bit like beef. Oh dear. You should never cook in a microwave. It's my
That
opinion.
would have been horrible.
Must have been a fucking big microwave is all I can say. Must have been a thermonuclear microwave. Or a very small turkey.
It's not very good putting anything in the microwave if it's a normal microwave that has bones in it.
No, you got to cook in the oven or open fire. I've seen someone cook a turkey, what they call a splayed turkey. It's where it's cut, splayed, open, looks about 4 times its natural width, and they break some bones in the body to flatten it out and put sticks laterally and horizontally
Huh?
and put it over a fire.
What about the stuffed turkey where they stuff with different meats?
Oh, apples, onions.
No, I'm talking about with different meats. They
Oh, yeah, no,
try to
there's an old
fillet.
English recipe called a 7-bird roast. It starts off with the smallest bird inside, followed by a bigger bird, bigger bird, bigger bird, bigger bird, and then a turkey. The second largest bird is goose. And that was like a royal dish.
Oh yeah, veggie spring. See, that's another video you could do, Buddy, when you do your spring rolls. You just film and then you decide what you want to do.
Look, the simplest way to get veggies into spring rolls, if you don't want to get cutting really fine, just get a shredder. You know, like when you shred cheese, just shred your carrots. You can put all sorts of things in there. I like to keep it simple: onions, carrots, some sort of greenery. If I get fancy, some noodles of some sort, but not always. And even cooking up some egg, like that adds a bit of body and texture to the actual mixture as well, and put whatever flavours. But I love ginger in spring rolls. Not overpowering, but nice. Adam has a video from the 80s. It was the same microwave used on Apollo 11. Are we at the moon yet? I'm not sure. I think that was the microwave. Oh, okay. Now we're at the moon. The lunar module is actually just a very large microwave with 3 legs. Don't tell anyone. Wink, wink. Yeah, heat stroke's pretty easy to get, even from just radiant heat. A lot of people who used to work in steel smelters used to get heat stroke a lot. Yeah, I can imagine you can freeze turkey meat. I don't know how long you'd keep it for, but I think the breast meat wouldn't freeze that well. Leg meat would. Sounds like a big microwave, Adam. But the good thing about doing your own video about cooking, one thing I can give you advice on, don't even think about what you're doing, just film it. Don't think, oh, have I got it in the right shot? Is it in full camera view? Doesn't really matter. Just do it and then review the movie later and think, oh, I could have done, and you will say, oh, I could have done that better and maybe I should have had a close-up of that. But it really doesn't matter, because for me, cooking is like, and you might find this a bit strange, it's like art or an expression. Each of us cook differently. Each of us have different tastes and flavours we like to add to our food. But that makes it individualistic. You are like an alchemist in your kitchen. So it doesn't matter whether people are like, oh, I wouldn't have put that much salt in there and I wouldn't have added that. It doesn't matter. It's the way you do it. I've never cared if people say, oh, that's pretty similar to the right way to do it, but we do it the right way, you don't. I'm thinking, okay. They don't rile me up and I don't worry about it. It's like, it's how you cook is only important to you. You're being very generous by showing how you cook your food. So you're giving people a gift. That gift is knowledge. If people don't know how to do something, you can't buy knowledge. You can't buy something at the supermarket that says how to cook properly. You have to cook badly first to cook properly later. Yes, you'll make mistakes. Yes, it won't be perfect, but eventually you get it. And that's because you're doing it. It's not theory, it's practice that makes perfect. Well, as close to perfect as can be. Yeah, I mean, Buttercup, it doesn't matter. Like if you send us your first video and you say, oh, I wasn't really happy with it, we don't care. I'll be watching for how and what was added and what flavours, because I'm all about flavours. And I'll be thinking, yeah, that works. I've actually watched videos of cooking thinking, oh, I like that bit. You know, it may not be the full recipe, it's something they've done. I'm thinking, yeah, I'll definitely use that. And I pinch it and I keep it and then I use it. So we all cook differently. We are alchemists. If I went into a room with all of you now and gave you a chicken and a whole rack of vegetables and spices and herbs and side dishes you can cook with it, and I said, I'll be back in 2 hours, and I'd come back and there would be 10 different dishes, but they'll all be good. So it's not important what, it's the methods. I tell you what a taco recipe must always have for me. It's got to have cumin in there, some form or another. You can have your spicy.
Very little though.
Yeah, it's just that extra flavour of cumin, or cumin, depends what part of the world you come from, that is the taste of Mexico. In fact, cumin is something that Chinese cook a lot with. If you got some corn flour and cumin, so a teaspoon of corn flour and a half a teaspoon of cumin, mixed it up in water, and say you've made like a Chinese dish with vegetables and whatever, you pour that in, it tastes like the Chinese restaurant takeaway. It's the cumin that gives you that little edge. It's your science. That's the best way to put it. Cooking is my science, he says, and that's dead right. Because I would guarantee, if you're anything like me, Adam, you never cook the same dish twice. I'll be thinking, yeah, it's pretty close to how I made it last time, but not the same, tiny bit different, but that's okay. New England is a bugger for humidity. Come to Australia during summer, don't worry about the humidity. It's down to about 5% here in the middle of summer. The crows are just looking over your bones.
I was going to get ready for bed.
Yes, it's time to toodaloo, or toodle off.
So before we go, Adam, what, you're not showing your phone.
Yep, sounds like a good combo there, Buttercup.
Do you have WhatsApp, Adam?
Oh yeah, that 5% humidity comes with about 110 degrees though, Adam. Your skin starts to peel while you're sitting under a tree.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty
yes,
scary.
it is secure. Sure, you can download that on your phone.
Maybe you can just send him a link in an email or something.
I'll send you an email.
So, Chick, if you want to do a little video, we'd love to see it. A lot of us here in the room love cooking, we love eating, and we're just sharing thoughts and ideas on different types of foods. And I will learn something. I'm a great believer you can teach, but you can learn just as well.
Oh, that reminds me, Butty, did you get Scarlett's email? Because you were going to send her the recipe for, I can't remember what. Was something you were going to send her?
Yes, she send you a link to it. Have a look at it. It's easy to use and allows you to send video. You need Wi-Fi, obviously. It is time to go to bed. I shall slip into something comfortable, then we'll call Buttercup. Hello, Buttercup, how are you? I'm just making my breasts a little flatter. Oh, okay. Making chicken schnitzel, don't get any ideas. You're welcome, my lady. It's kind of all you to visit the jungle, the rock and the centre that we visit on occasions together. We've just sat around a little campfire discussing life. Far better than discussing anger or drama. I don't have Wi-Fi. Well, you can go to McDonald's. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do nothing, chick. But it's good to share little ideas and thoughts. And I'm looking forward to seeing Buttercup's breasts and Adam's balls. Well, it's true. That's what they're making.
Yes. God.
All right, from Princess.
Princess?
And from the hairy one, yeah, look, check that out. Yeah, there are animals living in there. Look, there's a ferret trying to get out. Anyway, you have a great day. Enjoy it. Savour it, because it'll be gone and never retrievable from the moment you close your eyes when you hit the bed later tonight. So today is yours. There's an old saying, and I'll leave you with it. Carpe diem. Good night.